I ran my second full marathon, 26.2 miles a few weeks ago, and it changed my perspective on life. It was awful. It was embarrassing. I was in excruciating pain. I walked across the finish line and missed my goal time by 20 minutes. Yes, 20 minutes. Once I passed through the finish line, I broke down in tears. And I asked myself, am I a failure? I held out so much hope for that race this whole year, and I missed every single goal. So does that make me a failure? Well, let's talk about it. Welcome back to Get Outside Today. My name is Dominic. This is episode 3, Life is the Journey, Not the View. I am outside in beautiful Colorado Springs. I am at one of my favorite secret spots. I hiked about 2 miles up here to get to this spot, and I'm just so excited for this episode. We are going to go over 4 points to help you get towards your goals: the reality of expectations, the power of early mornings, motivation versus discipline, and learning to be present. We're jumping right into the first segment, reality of expectations. So I completed the marathon, but am I a failure? I walked across the finish line, head down in excruciating pain, missed my goal. Yes, I believed I was. I held out so much hope for this race all summer. I didn't get my photo finish that I had been practicing on every run, but it was just one day after months of training. So life, my life, your life, real life is the training. It's a training journey that it took to get to race day. Real life is showing up every single day to get 1% better. When I view my success as one day rather than the months of training, doesn't that seem unfair and unrealistic? When I view my race results in the lens of the journey, the hundreds of miles I ran, the early mornings, the weight training, the healthier diet, yes, of course we want the spectacular view at the top of the mountain and the photo finish at the end of the race. But life is the journey. What comes before, the day-to-day. Are you willing to put in the day-to-day to get your photo finish? The last few years or so, I've had some epic dreams and so many different lives I've wanted to live. Van life, make travel content, live in Europe, start a podcast, and a few of these have happened, just in maybe a little bit different form. But I spent a lot of time sitting around dreaming and planning, which for some things, yes, is wise. You should plan if you are moving your life to another continent. But it can get to a point where all you do is just dream and sit around, and nothing will happen without that training journey. I saw a quote on Instagram about later. Later, people grow up. Later, words go unsaid. Later, you lose interest. Later, opportunities slip away. Later, the day turns to night. Later, you regret not doing something. Later, life goes by and you had the chance. Some of the opportunities that I've let slip away still haunt me. I heard another quote that the magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding. So here are a few steps I've implemented into my life to take more action rather than sitting around and planning. Each of these tips are things that I am doing, things that I believe in. I don't want to come on here and ever tell you to do something that I'm not already doing or willing to do. That leads us to segment 2, the power of early mornings. So one small way to help combat this cycle of regret, you might have guessed it and you might not want to hear it, but it's waking up early. Waking up early before everyone else, if you're competitive like that, gives you an opportunity to structure your day, be productive, possibly get that workout in. Even if you're not trying to work out at 5:30 a.m., it's a great time to be productive. There's no distractions, there's no texts, no TikToks being sent to you, no social plans. In the morning, it's just you and your goals. And it also frees up time on the other side of the day in the evening for social plans with friends, family, more time to be productive, or some well-needed rest. I know some of you are probably laughing, discouraged, thinking that you are so not a morning person, but I have learned a few ways to help your body wake up early. Dr. Andrew Huberman explains that it takes 3 days of discomfort to rewire your brain, but after that, it becomes easy. So if you're not a morning person, here are a few tips and tricks to help you. The first being, view bright light. When my alarm goes off at 5, the first thing I do is turn on my lamp. And yes, I give myself a few minutes with my eyes closed, barely opening them, a few minutes to lay in bed to adjust. But that light right away helps you from a cycle of snoozing and snoozing and snoozing and not waking up early. Once I'm out of bed, I wash my face with cold water. It's something that's simple but quite effective. And then if you are a caffeine person, caffeine. If you're a food person, a little bit of food helps get you going right away. And then exercise of any kind, whether it's walking your dog, weights, biking, all of these activate hope molecules, which I will explain in a little bit. The last thing that you can do to help become a morning person is to have a social rhythm. Whether you're meeting people at the gym or you're texting somebody early in the morning that you are working on your side hustle, your business, have a social routine that keeps you accountable. Okay, so what are these hope molecules? Your muscles actually help combat depression. During movement, they release myokine molecules that researchers call hope molecules. Stanford psychologist Kelly McGonigal reveals why movement is actually medicine. So in order for these hope molecules, these myokines, to be released from your muscles, you have to be moving. These molecules help heal from trauma, stress, and mental health. Even the smallest of movements, whether it's walking around your neighborhood, gardening, you just have to be moving. Sometimes when I'm feeling discouraged or I have a creative block with my work, I'll take a 20-minute lap around my block, and I come back feeling refreshed and hopeful again. Okay, you might be saying, Dominic, this sounds great, but I'm just not always motivated. What happens on the days that I'm not motivated? That leads us to segment 3, motivation versus discipline. Philippians 4:13 says, "For I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength." My number one tip to help when you're not feeling motivated is just to say a prayer. Ask God that He would inspire you, give you more creative ideas, and I promise He will help you. So I know we've all told ourselves, I'm not where I want to be. Motivation won't get us there, but discipline will. Discipline shows up every day. And I hope you're feeling motivated after listening to these first few episodes to pursue some of your dreams, pursue a side hustle. I hope. But like potential, motivation is crap. There's a lot of days where I don't feel motivated to run, to get to the gym, to work on content, to edit this podcast. But discipline doesn't care if I'm tired, doesn't care if I'm discouraged. It shows up every day. Something that has helped me with discipline is declaring. When I wanted to run a race this summer, first I signed up. So I had to get the training in. I didn't have a choice. And then I told my friends that I was doing it. By telling the people you love of a dream that you have or a goal that you have down the road keeps you accountable. And hopefully they keep you accountable and reach out and make sure you are staying disciplined towards getting towards those goals. Another example of this in my life is this podcast. I told people I would post every other week. And if I missed a week, yes, it's not the end of the world. But because I told people, I want to keep my word and stay disciplined. Even though a lot of people might not even notice, I want to stay true to my word and my discipline. So share your dreams, tell people. This is when they really become real. Let people support you and tell me, reach out to me. Tell me I would love to support you in whatever you are working on right now. Yes, I know it can be scary. Trust me, I've had a lot of people laugh at my passions. I grew up playing golf. It was not a cool sport. Some of my closest friends made fun of me. Even with this podcast, I told some people that I was maybe potentially starting a podcast. They kind of laughed and brushed it off. But it's the people that truly love you that will truly keep you accountable. Aaron Rodgers said in a recent interview, you should never worry about criticism from somebody you would never ask advice from. We worry so much about what people think of us. And the majority of the time, it's not even people that know us, that love us, that care about us. So how bad do you want it? If you really want to achieve something, there comes sacrifice. Whatever you're wanting to do that you aren't doing now, well, there's a reason. So in order to make that happen, you probably have to change a few things in your life. For example, if you want to wake up early, you might have to sacrifice things in your evening so you can go to bed earlier. James 1:2-4 says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing." Okay, so you might be saying, struggling and sacrificing does not sound fun. It's not for me. But when you do, you learn and you improve so many things along the way during that training journey. And now our final segment, learning to be present. Instead of getting caught up in the end goal, in the photo finish, find 3 practical steps that you can do in the present to help get you there. Even just small things. Maybe it's consuming less sugar, or maybe it's reading 10 pages a day. These small things start to lay a foundation towards your bigger goal. All of these mountaintop view goals are great, they're amazing, But to learn to be present in the here and now, I believe is crucial. Oftentimes when I'm hiking, I find myself just stopping, shushing the people that I'm with, and just taking in the silence, just breathing, looking around. In this moment, I like to look back on my journey to see how far I've come. I think a lot of times we get caught up in just looking towards the mountaintop, and we just don't take time to look back at the trail we just climbed. The things that you once prayed for are now your reality. I believe it's so important not to forget those things. You should be grateful and celebrate those things every single day. Where you're at now is a miracle. It's an answer to your prayer. I want to end with a story from last year, one of the most incredible experiences of my life. My best friend and I celebrated 20 years of friendship, and we went skydiving. It was my first time. I'm the first one on the plane, so I sit in the very back. I get strapped into my instructor, and we're straddling this bench of a seat. We take off, and we reach 17,000 feet, and the door opens. And one by one, the people start jumping out in front of me. So we're scooting up, and finally it's me. So I stand up, and tells me to cross my arms, and we're inching out towards the edge. And in this moment, it's so much more comfortable to be back in the plane, to be in that back seat, letting everyone else go in front of me. But I found myself here at the edge of the plane, 17,000 feet, looking out over the mountains. I had no choice but to jump. With the instructor strapped behind me, we were right there. It's easy to procrastinate when you're in the back of the seat, when there's no panic, when there's nobody pushing you out the door. It's easy to procrastinate when there's no deadlines. So how bad do you really want the things that you keep talking about? Without a deadline, without someone pushing you out, are you still willing? How much does it really matter to you? Looking back at some of the best memories of my life, they have come from a place of discomfort, like skydiving, like this podcast. It can be overwhelming. It can be awkward. Will anyone even watch it? Will anyone listen? Will it matter? I get so nervous before I publish every episode, but I publish it anyways because it matters to me. I don't do this for the likes or for the views, but to the one person listening to this, that it reaches, that it means something to you, it was all worth it. Today's the day to start these little changes. A few weeks ago, I started waking up early. I bought a bunch of books to educate me for this podcast. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you to do something that I'm not already doing or pursuing or willing to do. I'll leave you with 2 points. One of the books that I bought that I've recently started is called A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. And she writes, by bringing the past into the present, we create a future just like the past. By letting the past go, we make room for miracles. Isaiah 41 says, but those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. So I ask you this, where is your energy? Where is your hope? Is it in earthly things that won't matter at the end of the day? Or is it in God, who energizes you and strengthens you and gives you a purpose beyond the life that you can see? A God that has knit you together so specifically. Reach out to him. Ask for help. Ask him, what is your purpose? He loves you more than any person on this earth could. Trust him. He will give you the strength. He will not let you grow weary. Believe in that today. I know that this world has let you down, but there is somebody much greater who is right there to bring you back up. And that is my prayer for you today. Just be willing, be open to what God has for you, to surrender, to rest, to stop on the trail and breathe, to take a moment to enjoy the training journey. Stop worrying about the photo finish and the view at the top, but take today to rest and to look back on where you've come and to realize that where you're at now is what you once prayed for. And just be grateful and be thankful. This life is so worth living, especially when you live for something bigger than yourself. Some of you might hear religion or Christianity and be discouraged, but I believe that Jesus is greater than any religion. He is the one that is seeking you. So are you open? Are you willing? I encourage you to rest and be open. And that's it for episode 3. Life is the journey, not the view. I hope you've thought of 3 foundational steps to help you today in the present to pursue those dreams, pursue those goals down the road. If you are still listening, I really do mean it when I want to be someone that you share your goals with. So please reach out to me, share whatever dreams, whatever goals that you have today, tomorrow, down the future. And I want to support you and encourage you because I 100% believe in you. And if it's not me, then share it with somebody else. Declare your dreams today. You are so worth the 1% each and every day. And as every day, get outside today.